Shabbat Shalom to everyone. It's wonderful for all of us to be able to be together. Ginter Novik and I look forward to sharing this Shabbat service of welcome to each and every one of you who are both near and far. Let's prepare ourselves for our Shabbat worship as we join together in a nigun, a song without words, but a song with deep meaning.
Lai, 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 lai,
In just a moment, we'll share in some more melodies as we prepare for our Shabbat worship. But before we do, first, a word from our sponsor, Shabbat. This Shabbat, the Shabbat before Pesach, is called Shabbat Hagadol, the Great Shabbat. It was first celebrated at the birth of the Jewish people, moments before the dawn of our deliverance from Egyptian slavery. Every Jewish family alone in their homes in Egypt sat fervently anticipating the united dream of deliverance and nationhood. More than 3,300 years later, this Shabbat Hagadol, this great Shabbat, we too sit isolated in our own homes, once again united in our fervent prayer for relief from the global pandemic that has shaken our world to its very core. Let us join together with Jews around the world to make this Shabbat Hagadol a Shabbat of kindness, a Shabbat of prayer, and a Shabbat of connection to the divine, tapping into the transformative power of Shabbat. I invite you on this Shabbat Hagadol to do three things. Call or message each other with words of support during this entire 24-hour period of Shabbat. In our heroic global quest to protect each other, we find ourselves physically cut off from one another. So many of us are completely alone. So call or message someone you know who is alone or struggling. Wish them Shabbat Shalom and offer them words of support and encouragement. There is so much we cannot do at this time, but let's not underestimate the power we have to uplift, encourage, and support one another. Second, let's pray for each other during this entire Shabbat service. As the devastation of COVID-19 sweeps across the world, so many people need our prayers. Let us join together in prayer this evening for each other and for all humankind. And third, let us bring this Shabbat into our homes together and harness its immeasurable, invigorating power. Let us connect to light and love and disconnect from the relentless news cycle for a precious 24-hour period. Let us fill our homes with the radiant light of Shabbat candles together. Let us proclaim God's sovereignty over the entire world and feel God's loving embrace as we soon will recite Kiddush together. And let us declare that this time is called Kiddush, Kodesh, sacred, holy, unique. This is a time for every one of us to rally together in unity. This is a time for us to be together, to welcome Shabbat in together as one people, with one heart, Jews all over the world. We may be apart, but we are not alone. In being apart, let us also be together. May we all find comfort and strength in Shabbat and in each other. And may this truly be a Shabbat Hagadol, a great Shabbat in the fullest sense of the words. And may God bring health and healing to this wonderful and precious world in which we are so privileged to live. Amen.
Amen.
We continue now with the singing of Dodi Li, written by Cantor Novik's friend and my dear friend, Cantor Scher, who we've known for so many years. Page 29 in our books. By the way, if you see me singing, but you don't hear me, it's because of our technology. But the truth is that I hope all of you, are singing and harmonizing with Cantor Novik and making a beautiful, beautiful sound together. There is a notion that all who sing pray twice. And I hope that our voices are singing so loudly that they can be heard all the way to the very peaks of heaven. We continue now
Remember,
on
I love
page
singing with you.
page 42 as we join together in singing Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Loshem Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Archoni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
There's a notion that as the sun is setting, God's divine presence, the Shekhinah, begins to go around from one community to the next, from one synagogue to another, in search of a place where she may be able to dwell during the Shabbat experience. It is our hope that she will choose to dwell amongst us because she will decide that we are a community that is God-worthy. And so let's sing out and welcome her with these words of Lecha Dodi. And upon the last verse, we will rise together, open the door in your house, and welcome the Shekhinah in the hopes that she will join for this Shabbat period of time.
ושלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה, גם בשמחה, ובצהלה. תוך אמוני, עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, בואי
We continue now with the lighting of the Shabbat candles. On page 21, and we invite Cantor Novick to lead us. In our lighting of the candles, look and see how the lights come together from all around and shine so brightly. And on page 22, we will join together in the singing of Kiddush. If for some reason you do not have kosher wine available in your home, you can use a substitute. If you'd like to know if there's a blessing for the substitute for kosher wine, such as scotch or bourbon or tequila, as was asked a few weeks ago, there happens to be an appropriate blessing. Please write to me, send me an email after Shabbat, and I will be happy to send you the blessing so you will have it for the future. Now let us all join in the singing of Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon inchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit. Hihu yom techila lemikrai kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim. Ivanu v'chata leotanu idashta mikol hamim. Neshabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
Pesach is coming.
A prayer entitled Pandemic by Lynn Unger. Soon we will continue with Chatzi Kaddish, which you can find in front of you. What if you thought of it as the Jews consider the Sabbath the most sacred of times? Cease from travel, cease from buying and selling, give up just for now on trying to make the world different than it is, sing, pray, touch only those to whom you commit your life, center down. And when your body has become still, reach out with your heart. Know that we are connected in ways that are terrifying and beautiful. You could hardly deny it now. Know that our lives are in one another's hands. Surely that has come clear. Do not reach out your hands. Reach out your heart. Reach out your words. Reach out all the tendrils of compassion that move invisibly where we cannot touch. Promise this world your love, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, so long as we all shall live. Let us join together in praising God with these words of Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitkadash Shmei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'olemot divrach chirutei, be'yomech malchutei, b'chayechon u'b'yomechon, u'b'chayetecho beit Yisrael. Ba'agala, u'vizman karit, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam ve'almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal Shemei de Kudeshan Richuleila Min Kol Birchata B'Shirata Tu Shmechata B'Nechemata Yahamiron Be'alma B'imeru
Amen. We rise now in body or in spirit as we join together in the Barchu and remain standing through the Shema. Page 46.
Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach L'olam Va'ed.
We continue on page 48 with Ma'ariv Aravim. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim B'chokma Boteach Sha'arim Uvidvuna Mishane Itim Umachalif Et Hazmanim Umisader Et HaKochavim V'mishmerotehem Barkia Kirtzono Borei Yom V'Layla Golel Or Mipnei Choshech V'Choshech Mipnei Or Uma'avir Yom Umevi Layla Umavil Ben Yom Uvein Laila, Adonai Tzevaot Shemo, El Chai V'Kayam, Hamid Yamloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Ata Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, La'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated. We continue on page 57. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. Together, the high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt, we were delivered. At Sinai, we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us now continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Liza, can you bring up Standing at the Sea? We'll begin with a chorus. All you have to know is freedom, freedom's on our way. Freedom, 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 freedom's on our way. Standing at the sea, standing at the sea, standing at the sea, freedom is on our way. Freedom, 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 freedom is on our way. They're coming up behind, they're coming up behind. They're coming up behind. Coming up behind. Freedom is on our way. Bound no more. Bound no more. Bound no more. Freedom is on our way. Freedom. 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 Freedom is on our way. The sea sheep hearts. The sea sheep hearts. Michamocha. The sea sheep hearts. Michamocha. Sea sheep hearts. Michamocha. Freedom is on our way. Walking through the water. Walking through the water. Michamocha. Walking through the water. Michamocha. Walking through the water. Michamocha. standing at the sea. Bichamocha, in the sun away. Singing and dancing, yeah. Singing and dancing, Bichamocha, singing and dancing. Bichamocha, singing and dancing. Bichamocha, freedom is on our way. One last time, here we go. Freedom, 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 freedom is on our way. Freedom, 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 freedom is on our way.
We continue now on page 64 as we rise and join together in the Amidah.
Adonai Sifata Tiftach Ufi Agiti Latecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Domer Chasadim Tovim, V'konei הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו בשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. We continue on page 73. We read together, disturb us, Adonai, ruffle us from our complacency, make us dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from a shunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness, and the poverty, physical and spiritual of humans. Shock us, Adonai, deny to us the false Shabbat which gives us the delusion of satisfaction amid a world of war and hatred and pandemic. Wake us, O God, and shake us from the sweet and sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten melodies and rubric prayers of yesteryears. Make us know that the border of the sanctuary is not the border of living, and the walls of your temples are not shelters from the winds of truth, justice, and reality. Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. We continue on page 75. Together we read, you are with us in our prayers, our love and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. We continue on page 77. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, atov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. We continue on page 78 and join together in the singing of Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Ki ata Melech Adon Lecho HaShalom. Ki ata Melech Adon Lecho HaShalom. Shalom Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. V'tov b'leinecha tevarech et Amcha Yisrael. V'chol עת ובחושם ישלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim
We take out a moment now to read the words of prayer silently, which you will find on page 81, or to render the words that may emanate from your own heart as we think about our loved ones and the world in which we live, as we consider the gratitude that we all have for all those health workers, doctors and nurses and attendants and ENTs and all those who risk their lives for our benefit to enable all of us to be able to be restored to wholeness. We take a moment for prayer. We continue now on page 271. By the way, in case you are wondering why you are seeing so many blank pages, it reminds me of a rabbinic dictum. A student asked the rabbi while looking at the Torah scroll one day, why are they blank parts of the Torah? Why isn't every single piece of the parchment written upon? And the rabbi responded, well, actually, every single piece of the Torah does have writing on it. It's just that the writing on it that we can't see is because that writing will only be revealed to us when we have brought about peace for the entire world and healing for all humankind. We are grateful tonight to Eliza Locks, who is working as our technician, taking us from page to page, and a moment ago in desperate search of trying to find the right page for Eliyahu Hanavi, which she did find. And in the meantime, she reminded us of the power within each of us to fill every single blank spot on the page with words of kindness and compassion and justice and mercy and truth. At this moment, we pause in our worship to recall all those members of our community who are ill or hospitalized, and also those in our state and in our nation who are suffering because of the pandemic in which we are all experiencing. We are grateful for the work of all of the physicians and the nurses and pray that they will have the skill to be able to attend to everyone in need and help to bring about total healing. We especially recall Zalman Bendina, Gabby Kraft Buckman, Jeffrey Carlin, Aaron Taylor, Susan Robb, Linda Rubino, Arlene Furman, David Bregman, Rabbi Rob Nosenchuk, Linda Simon, Neil Silverman, Deborah Linder, Susan Klein, Linda Fleischer, Don Hirsch, Ruth Bat Yosefu Miriam, Martin Ostroff, Sharon Neese, Pearl Weitzman, Summer Kurter, Rosalie Rapfogel, Phil Toscano, Leonard Silverman, Malka Aviva Batina Rivka, Mason Rockmore, Emily Tucker, Jeremy Canterman, Mike Condon, Jennifer Lovett, Erwin Rockland, Bernie Weinstein, Larry Maslow, Perry Shellman, Andrea Kissel, Brad Young, Luke Chang, Ravidra Chandak, Ritu Chandak, Barry Sakowitz, Mark Plowker, Cindy Plowker, Rochelle Spurgel, Martin Spurgel, Mike Blumenfeld, Richard Retblatt, Somse Billamy, Roseanne McKenney, Judith Marks. And we share in their honor and in our hope for their healing these words of prayer, and then we will join in singing Misha Beirach. May we who are merely inconvenienced remember those whose lives are at stake. May we who have the luxury of working from home remember those who must choose between preserving their health or making their rent. May we who have the flexibility to care for our children when their schools close remember those who have no options. May we who are losing our margin money in the tumult of the economic market remember those who have no margin at all. May we who settle in for a quarantine at home remember those who have no home. As fear grips our country, let us choose to love. During this time when we cannot physically wrap our arms around each other, let us find ways to be the loving embrace of God to each one of our neighbors, to the stranger, the orphan, and the widow, to all created in the divine image.
Source of strength, bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say together, Amen. We should bless those in need of healing, all of them.
This Shabbat, we open in our Torah the second parsha in the book of Leviticus. When one first looks at it, one wonders, why is it even included? After all, it is a section really designed for the priesthood, a manual, if you will, of what the priests, the Kohanim and the Leviim in times of antiquity, what they were supposed to do in order to carry out the sacrificial cult in the Mikdash, in the tabernacle, and later in the temple, as it was in Jerusalem. The Torah portion describes various offerings, sacrifices as we think of them, the Olah, the Mincha, the Chatat, the Zevach Shlamim, the burnt offering, the meal offering, the peace offering, the sin offering. They're all intended to seek expiation and favor from the divine. The rabbis struggle, since in the time of the rabbis and now, we don't do sacrifices anymore, at least not intentionally. We are witnessing the sacrifice of human beings as we speak, and how deeply troubled every single one of us is. That's not how we envision sacrifices, gifts to God. Rabbi Simcha Bunim, one of the great Hasidic masters, said that we need to understand that the sacrifices were really not about sacrifices, burnt offerings, but rather were about Torah and the study of Torah. For Simcha Bunim, the real sacrifices were the moments that we would spend in the study of the sacrifices, in the study of Torah, in the learning of doing mitzvot. And today that certainly is the challenge to every single one of us, how to learn from Torah in order to be able to make praise and thanksgiving to God who created the world. And in the midst of this Torah portion, there is one phrase that always speaks to me each and every year that I come to it. And that phrase is, V'ha'esh al hamizbeach tukadbo lo tikbeh. The fire on the altar shall be kept burning, never to go out. Think of it. Right now in our temple on East Broad Street, the lights are out. It's dark in the halls, even in the sanctuary. But there is one light that still remains burning, the Ner Tamid. It is the Eish al HaMizbeach, Tukadbo, Lo Tichbeh. It is that eternal flame that is to burn and burn and burn and never go out. In some ways, it is the very symbol of our lives and certainly the very symbol of our congregation. We are a community whose flame burns brightly, whether we are physically in the presence of our building or in the presence of one another in our homes, in the living room, in the dining room, following each other on the screens in front of our eyes. And yet, we ensure Ha'esh al HaMizbeach tukadbo lo tichbeh, that the fire burns continuously and does not go out. This week alone, we have heard from temple members who were in need of groceries or things to be picked up from the pharmacy, and our volunteers went on their behalf and distributed. This week, some of our members discovered that they could not go out and they are in need of matzah in preparation for the Passover Seder. And our volunteers received donations from ShopRite, and we got 100 boxes of matzah. and they have been and they are being distributed in preparation for the Seder. And this coming week, when all of us will be in our homes and we will not be able to join with our family members as we normally do around the Seder table, you are all invited, every single one of you, to join with Rabbi Prosnit and Cantor Rubel, and Cantor Novick, sorry. They together will be leading a community-wide Seder for all of us on this same Zoom video channel that we are all participating in tonight. Everyone is welcome. Bring your matzahs, bring your charoset. I hope that you learned how to make charoset from Cantor Novick this week. Bring all of the things that you need and celebrate freedom as you have never celebrated it before. And let's all of us, every single one of us, make sure the ha'esh ala mizbeach tukad bo lo tichbeh, that the fire on the altar in our hearts, in our souls, in our building, and wherever Jewish life is alive shall be kept burning and never go out. Shabbat shalom to everyone. We continue now on page 276 and join in prayer for our country. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes, every single one of our homes, be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. And together we say, Amen. And now we share on the next page in our prayer for our beloved state of Israel. As we do, so Eliza, just turn to the very next page. There it is. Thank you. As we do, my brother is in Jerusalem as we speak. He told me that the streets of Jerusalem are empty, that Ben Yehuda Street is like a ghost town, that Machane Yehuda, the bustling marketplace filled every day with thousands and thousands of people, is empty, that everyone is walking around with a mask, and that no one is permitted to go more than 100 meters from their home. That's the life that they are living. They too share in this pandemic of COVID-19, as we have come to call it. And so let us join together in this prayer for Israel. Avinu Shebashamayim Sur Yisrael V'Goalo. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless now the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Sha'alu Shalom Yerushalayim, Yishalayu Ohavayach. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. We continue now on page 300 as we rise for the Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשינו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונה. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Please be seated. Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. Together, O may all, created in your image, become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
In a moment, we will recall all of our loved ones who have recently passed away or whose yahrzeit we observe this week. Normally, we read one of the readings in the prayer book that are found here, and in fact, we had originally planned to read the one that is in front of you, but shortly before our service this evening, I found out about the death of Bill Wither. The name may not mean a lot to many of you, but when I share his words, you will see why I chose to read them tonight. Had I known a few hours before, I would have called Martha and asked her to sing the words, but I didn't feel at 2 minutes to 6 that I could spring it on her. Here are the words of Bill Wither. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. We recall lovingly those taken from our midst only during the last 30 days. Sandy Schulman, mother of Darren Schulman and Charlene Glasser. Florence Stern, mother of Claudia Frankel. Barry Moskowitz, uncle of Jessica Bruder, Anita Berry, mother of Ben Berry, Monroe Brody, husband of Millicent Brody, Vicki Rubenstein, wife of Melvin Rubenstein, Diane Saunders, mother of Rob Saunders, Cyan Goslin, father of Sabrina Keller, Maxine Judd, Larry Schwartz, father of Jerry Schwartz, Alan Sheffrin, father of Lori LaMonica, Cheryl Asarno, daughter-in-law of Cheryl Cohn, Stanley Sporkin, father of Elizabeth Sporkin, Roberta Oberman, mother of Donna Mayer. And we recall those whose yahrzeit occurs this week. Zelda Barnett, Lottie Block, Bluma Choras, Sarah Fine, Helen Foreman, Philip Gerson, Norman Goldstein, Sidney Goldstone, Norman Greenberg, Aaron Jablanca, Mo Jenis, Betty Kalish, Lillian Coulter, Louis Carmiol, Clara Kartzman, Norman Katz, Harold Kern, Edith Kranzow, Fanny Lighton, Jacqueline Hope Lewis, David Lucan, Hyman Maller, Rose Maris, Frank Mason, Harry Mishulin, Isidore Mintz, William Mishkin, Gussie Nelson, Marion Newham, Yummy Oberstein, Sarah Palmer, Marjorie Plachette, Shirley Reisfeld, Mariora Rohr, Jerome Rose, Ben Rosen, Leo Rosenberg, Samuel Rubinger, Sylvia Schwartzbard, Lenore Shane, Cecile Laufer Solomon, Freda Solo, Robert Staffen, Samuel Steingard, Murray Tucker, Jerry Weber, Morris Weinstein, Tilly Weissman, Pauline Wolfson, William Zemmel. Each one of them now in our hearts. Zecher Tzadik Livracha. May they always be remembered for blessing. I invite all of us now to rise together with all those who mourn and share together in these words of faith, the words of Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ba'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'vyomechon, u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agalau v'zman kariv imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lemei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudesha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushpechata v'nechemata, amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace and comfort to all those who mourn, to all of us, and to all Israel. And together let us say, amen. We conclude our worship with the singing of Avadim Hayinu in preparation for our great holiday of Pesach. We sing together on this Shabbat Hagadol, this great Sabbath, the great Sabbath of the year.
We'll wait for you, Eliza. Ah, there it is. Wonderful. Here we go. Avadim Hayinu.
Hayinu,
Ata
Abenei
B'Chorim.
Chorim,
Avadim Hayinu. Ata B'Nei Chorim. Avadim Hayinu. Ata B'Nei Chorim. Avadim Hayinu. Ata b'nei chorim,
Shabbat Shalom to everyone, from our homes to yours. May it be a true, great Shabbat for all of us, a Shabbat of peace and comfort and strength. Amen.
May I say what an honor and a privilege it was to share Shabbat with you, Rabbi Miller.
And for me too, with you, Martha, an absolute delight and honor. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.